Okay.
Oh, right.
So, hello out there. Irene and I, we're doing a collaboration, and we're going to be redoing one of each other's works in our own style with our own spin. That's what we're doing.
Yes.
So, if you'd like to talk about yours.
I am really excited about this. I think this is really something different for me because I've never done a collaboration before. Decided to do a piece of each other's that we like and just redo it in our own style. And I chose your beautiful painting of Marie Antoinette with her crazy hair. Well, obviously it's a wig, but you know, with the ship on it. And yeah, I love that video. That was really cool. So I have done the first sketch here. Yeah, it's messy because I had to cover up a lot of mistakes. So that's why there's a lot of black ink on there. And then from there, I just traced it onto watercolor paper, and hopefully my lighting isn't too bad so that you can kind of make out what the plan is.
Probably
there.
Better than mine.
So, and I did do a preliminary color test here. I'm not really sure that I'm gonna stick with this plan, but anyway, it was just a test I was doing. So yeah. That's that. So how about you tell me what you're doing? Because I still don't even know.
Wow. What I'm doing is you had done this gorgeous rendition of an old pin-up painting of a witch on a broomstick, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cute. I want to do something like that. So this is mine here.
Oh,
I don't know if you can
look
see
at
it.
that. Oh,
yeah.
right. I'm really glad
I'm so excited because like it looked so cool. I was like, I want to do one of those.
Now, have you seen the original painting online? Because that original painting by
I followed the link on your video and had a quick browse, quick look. Got to page 6 and I was like, oh, there she is.
So a lot of paintings. Yeah.
I'm ready. I've got my tongue, my little tubes. I've got a whole set going on here. I've like got just boxes and things set up on my bed, like a real professional artist. You know, if you're not painting in bed, then you're not committed to your work.
I can't argue.
But yeah.
Now, I think you said you like the Daniel Smith paints, right?
Oh yeah, I love the tube paints. Don't know about the pans though, but the tubes 10 out of 10, I'd say. They're very pigmented compared to other paints I've tried, but I think that a thing with tube paint in the tubes, they're like more pigmented than pans, but also like I really like Inca. Like look at her, she's stunning.
Oh yeah.
I've made a mess of it, but they're such strong colors. Ooh, I've stuck my brush to my paint. That's talented.
See, I thought I knew what I was gonna do, but now I'm like frozen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go in with black because you can't go wrong with black. Even though they tell you at uni not to use it.
It strikes me as a bold choice.
It's just good for like everything, for like contrast. Not to sound like emo or anything, but black is pretty good. I
adds
like it.
drama.
They always
like
tell you not
drama.
to use it. Yeah. Very dramatic.
Okay.
I'm not sure how this corset thing's going to work because I really didn't think this through. So, wish me luck.
You don't need luck. You've got talent. You've got the skills.
Oh, what do you think? Okay, discussion time. Are you ready? What do you think of the word talent? Like, when someone's like, oh, you're so talented, are you like, thanks? Or are you like,
It's,
kind of had to work?
yeah, it's one of those difficult words, because I think when I think when someone says that to someone, I think it comes from a sincere place. People are complimenting you, and they believe that, yeah, you do good, you're awesome, and they're complimenting you, and it's a sincere compliment. At the same time, I can understand why someone on the receiving end might feel like, well, that's nice, but there's a lot of work that went into it. It's not just talent. It's things that you do and you've learned and you've practiced with, and it's an earned skill a lot of times. So I can see where it can be taken in a different way. And sorry if I kind of lose my train of thought, because that just happened there. It happens more and more as the years go on. But yeah, so I can see where people look at that in different ways.
Yeah. No, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think some people mean it as, they obviously mean it in a good way, but at the same time, yeah, I've like earned this, I guess. Like, I've worked hard to get to where I am. It didn't just happen. Like, I didn't just pop out of the womb with a paintbrush. Like, I think if you're passionate about something,
oh yeah,
you can pretty much achieve anything. So, yeah, I think that's kind of my stance on it. Like, I've had a lot of people just assume that, like, it doesn't require hard work, and
right.
like
The insinuation
just be
is
like, oh wow.
there is an insinuation.
Like, I wish I was as good as you.
You just have talent. It's easy for you. where well, it's not always the case.
I only started watercolor painting like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I had to teach myself. I didn't start out well. I might actually insert later a picture of my first watercolor painting, because it's pretty horrific. I did it was a painting of Tweety Bird. My God, it was interesting. It didn't even look like watercolor. I was not using. I was like, this is acrylic in my mind.
Well,
it takes a lot of work.
I haven't done a lot of painting. High school art class, we just kind of experimented with like acrylics and some other mediums, but that it wasn't really a learning environment. When I tried watercolors when I was younger, I was very intimidated by it. I thought it was so hard, because I was used to pencil drawing, and watercolors was just so different, and I couldn't control it the way I could a pencil. And so I kind of gave up really quickly. So, it's taken me this long. I am 52 years old now, and I finally kind of got into watercolors just maybe three years ago, maybe. So yeah, it's been awesome. I don't know why. I was ready to get into it, but I think I wish I'd actually gotten into it a long time ago.
So what was it exactly that made you think, I want to do watercolor?
It wasn't really like a choice. I just, my niece, my teenage niece asked me to go and do some arting with her at her place, because she was really into trying out different drawing and painting in different mediums, and she was into watercolors at the time. I said, "Oh, okay, I've got nothing better to do." So I went over, and she had all the supplies. She had the papers and the paints and the um, brushes, and I was like, so I just used what she had, and I thought, hey, this is fun. So we've kind of been we kind of got into doing that every once in a while, just getting together, arting, and having fun with it. And I just really got to like the watercolor medium through that. How about you? Is watercolor like a favorite medium of yours, or do you have other mediums that you like?
Well, I'd say it's probably my favorite at the moment. I'm kind of getting into ink a bit as well because it dries faster and it's more pigmented. So, like, I don't need to do all these layers and spend an insane amount of time layering.
Right.
But I did start out drawing. I drew for a really long time. Yeah, right up until I started doing watercolor, I was pretty much drawing. I'd done a few acrylic paintings. Nothing much, really. But they were kind of these, like, almost hyper-realistic artworks that just took way too long to do. And it got to the point where I was, like, so drained after finishing a work that it wasn't even rewarding anymore. And I was getting, like... Sometimes I was getting commissioned. I'd get paid like 85 Australian or something like that. And my mum would be like, "Oh, that's so expensive though." And I'm like, "But it takes me like over 24 hours to finish something." Right. Like of actual drawing time. It was ridiculous. And like I was getting RSI. I was like, "No thanks, I'm good." I sort of picked up watercolor. So I saw like a lot of illustrators I really like work with watercolor and ink. I was like, I don't want to do that. It wasn't easy getting to like understand it, going from like drawing and everything being so precise to having a lot less control, like you were saying. It's like, it's scary, it's intimidating, but I think it's worth it. Like, once you get to know what you're doing and you know what paper to use and what brushes to use, what paint to use, it's so worth it in the end, I think.
And, I
sorry if I'm, like, talking too much.
Not at all, not at all. I wanted to know that, what your thoughts are on that. And like you said, it's about the characteristics of the medium. It's the look I've seen people getting with watercolors. I just think is amazing, the kind of looks they can get. Some of these people who do like florals and landscapes and animals and portraits, it's like, oh my gosh, that's watercolor. I wish in my dreams I'm that kind of a painter. Is like, I can do it all. It's awesome. That's the fantasy. Have you ever watched Louise Demasi?
I don't think I have.
Oh my gosh, her florals and her animals are, they look real there, but at the same time, they have the beauty of the watercolor look. So they're very good.
No, I love that. Like, still being able to know that it's color, but it just looks so incredible, and like, that's amazing to me. I don't know. But I do like traditional illustration, I guess. I like things to look very enchanting.
Yes. That's what
like, I think I was talking to you about Adam Oler's.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with his work. Glad I'm putting this out in the internet for people to know. I have an obsession, everyone. But yeah, his work, phenomenal. Yeah. I wish I was that good and that creative. Like, I wish my imagination.
Well, I hadn't seen his work before, so when you mentioned him and I checked him out on his Instagram, I thought, wow, that's exactly the kind of artwork that I would love to follow. So I followed his Instagram. Yeah, you're right. It is amazing.
Like, oh, just skill and imagination together, like having those, like, yes.
Yeah. But see, that's what drew me to your YouTube channel. I don't remember which was the first video I saw, but I remember just being just won over by your style. I guess you call it your
Aw.
aesthetic. It's just very appealing to me, and it's cool how you've tried different mediums. I like that you did some mixed media pieces. The one with the branches. I think you did a couple like that with the series.
Because I'm the watercolor nymph. I would never stray from watercolor. It's not real. It's fake.
You combine it with unexpected medias. So yeah, it's just really interesting to see what you do, and plus you've done like
Yeah.
you've done some digital art as well, I believe, and
More so like photography with like
there.
atrocious amounts of editing.
Yeah, see, you do photography, so yeah, you're like multi-talented there, or maybe I should say multi-skilled. But yeah.
Thank you. It's hard. Like, it was really difficult for me for a long time trying to decide whether I wanted to go down which path, because I was very into photography, and in my final years of high school, I was winning these awards. Like, I won multiple awards for my photography, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm meant to be a photographer. Maybe I'm not cut out for illustration, because I wasn't happy with my work at the time. It was just a matter of learning.
Yeah.
So I almost got like really deterred and just didn't keep doing traditional art, I guess. I almost went exclusively into photography. I wasn't feeling it, but at the same time, I was like, I know that I want to illustrate children's books. I think that's what kept me going. And it got to the point where I was putting in my uni application. I got an email saying I'd been accepted, like, automatically into the photography course. So they wanted me in because I guess I've got, like, a unique photography style. But yeah, that was a hard decision to make, like, because I didn't know if I was going to get into the painting course, but I chose that anyway, and I was like, okay, photography shall be my backup, I guess. And like, it's a lot of money too, so like, you've really got to make it worth your while, I think.
So this piece that the original piece that you did of this Marie Antoinette, it was a larger scale than what I'm doing.
I think it was about, well, it's on my wall. I'll just take it off. It's about this big.
Okay. Yeah, because that's larger than I work in, but I have not done larger than like 11 by 14 as far as paper, but plus I don't have those skills yet to work on that kind of a scale, so I just did a 9 by 12 here.
You know, when you're just mucking around and then it bleeds everywhere. You're like, no, she's got red lipstick all over her face.
It happens, yeah.
But also in real life.
Yes. And I'm not even going to attempt to get the darks that you got.
Why not?
Because I have not had.
You don't want to go mad?
I have issues with getting good values, I guess is the term where you have the different levels of dark and medium and light, and yeah, I haven't really gotten good at that.
It's just takes a bit of, am I allowed to say this on the internet? It takes a bit of balls. You just gotta do it. I was scared, so scared of using any color for the longest time. Because you know how when you put it down, it looks a lot like bolder and darker than it actually will turn out to be.
Right.
I was so intimidated. But then I just let go and I was like, I don't care.
No, you're right.
I know that sounds stupid, but like
you're absolutely right. I totally agree.
You just gotta get past it. Like, it's terrifying, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't know if I told you, but I'd spent like $200 on watercolor paper alone a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, goodbye, money. Looks like I won't be eating for the next couple of days.
And you chose paper over food.
Yes. I had to. It was per commission. You gotta spend money to make money, right?
Yes. That's right. That's right. So you probably made the right choice.
So that's kind of how I got into this whole YouTube thing. I just had a camera, and then next thing I had a tripod, and I was like, I could do YouTube.
Yeah, so you just kind of did it just because you didn't have like a plan, like, you know.
It might be fun, and like maybe people can get inspiration, and I can connect with people who are like doing similar stuff. And also, like, there's the appeal about it. People aren't generally just subscribing to you to get followed back, as opposed to Instagram, where it's just like follow for follow. People aren't actually interested in what you're doing, they're just interested in themselves. Like, everyone's out there for themselves. They don't really care that you're there. You're just like a follow count, and if you don't follow back, then they're not going to want anything to do with you.
Yeah, and you know, I can understand people are in it to hopefully to kind of make some money. I think to support their artwork, to somehow support them, so that they can create the content that they want to create. And I can understand that, but at the same time, I don't like some of the tactics that some channels use to try and get there.
Yeah, for sure. You want to throw shade at somebody? Is there anyone in particular?
Oh, no, not anyone in particular. It's just, you know, I watch a lot of YouTube, so I kind of see a lot of spamming as self-advertising, self-promotion, I should say, as far as in the way of spamming, and it's one of the things that I kind of find annoying.
I know there's like a lot of people, they're not really there because they're passionate about it, they're there because they see YouTube as a form of bludgeoning. Us out here not being monetized. We're just here for fun.
Well, I want to be monetized eventually. That would be awesome. So, but yeah, you can kind of tell, I think, when people don't have the passion for the art, like you said, and they're just, it's all about, oh, let me make a buck. I would love to be monetized eventually, but I don't want to get there by annoying people and, you know, making a nuisance of myself, or I'm trying to get organic followers and as much as possible. So
I do think I want to, well, I've already sort of done it, but like I want to like make a video about my Patreon and get like people to maybe subscribe to my Patreon so that I can continue doing what I want to do.
Right.
Because like it ain't cheap, and like with like how many charity pieces I have planned out, I'm not making any money from that. I'm losing money from it because I'm like spending money on the materials to make it. I'm taking the time to make it. Then I have to advertise it so that people will actually see it and buy it, and then all of the proceeds go to the cause.
Yeah.
So I'm like losing this money to do what I love, essentially, but I don't have any support. It's just me and my paints.
I was watching your the other day. I was watching your review of. I think you had like 4 different brands of watercolor paints that you had gotten and you were trying out, and you had done a review on. I think
my little baby me trying to do a review.
well, I guess it was a little while ago, yeah. But you'd done like Rembrandt and Winsor and Newton and Schminke. And I was just wondering if you've experimented more with these brands, or it sounds like you've settled on Daniel Smith as your favorite.
Like, I really liked pretty much all of them, although throw shade once again, but Winsor and Newton, I don't think they're as great as they market themselves to be. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the brand, but like, I've had more issues with their paints than I have with Daniel Smith or Schminke. Like, there's certain colors that are just not that great. Like, for how much they're charging, I don't think it's worth it.
They are expensive.
But I also, yeah, they're very expensive for the professional colors.
Yeah,
I love their Cotman sets, the student grade ones. I find them to be better than professional grade, I think, especially for the price. But I do really like Rembrandt. Let's say I'm a closet Rembrandt lover. I don't know what I do with my set. It's not a big set, which is why I don't use it often, because there aren't that many colors. But I do really love the colors. The Scarecrow piece I used Rembrandt.
I like that piece. I didn't realize you used the Rembrandt on that. Everything I've seen and heard of Rembrandt, it makes me want to try them. They do look like they're a really good paint.
I wish I had just a big old box of Rembrandt. Oh, speaking of boxes, I was thinking I should do like a competition thing, like a prize.
Oh yeah.
Like on Patreon or something. So whoever like thinks of the most creative piece will win like a nice box set.
I think that's a great idea. Really nice. Yeah, because I'm not a patron of anybody, but I think I know how popular it is, and I know lots of people do that. And if you've got a Patreon, I think that's a great incentive to get people involved and excited about something like that. I think that's a nice idea.
Yeah. I think it would just also be nice to like give someone something to like get them started, because I have a lot of sets. Like, I have a lot of paint myself, but I know how hard it is to work when you've got crap paints.
Yeah.
I would like to give someone that kind of like a leg up, I guess.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that way, they're not, if someone's just starting out, they don't have to resort to getting the $5 set from what is it? I think I had actually gotten this set from Michael's.
Was it a paint wheel?
It wasn't the wheel. It was the very chalky, cheap watercolor paints. It's called Artist Loft. It was on sale for $5, regularly 10 or whatever. And it was 36 colors. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I'll try. It was, I didn't have any paints of my own at that time. I just figured, okay, I want to get my own. I've been using my niece's paints enough. I need to get my own paints. And so I figured I'll just get this cheap set because I had zero budget basically for art supplies. and I regretted it. I just did not like those paints at all. So my next set was the Winsor & Newton Cotman Sketchers box and their student line, and I wished I'd started with that set because that was definitely better than the Artist Loft.
Yeah, I think they're definitely setting high expectations for like student grade paints. Like those are the best student grade paints I've ever used.
So you must have been thrilled when you got those sets of all of those the Schminke and the Sennelier and the Rembrandt and
oh yeah.
Yeah. You must have been like just tickled.
I was over the moon. I was like, oh my gosh, all these colors to try, all these different brands. And I was like, which ones are the best? I think I kind of did that video a lot for myself to like test them out and like put myself in a place where I had to do it all at once, I guess. I just had the best time. But yeah, it's so good, like having so much choice and like learning also not to limit yourself to like one brand. I think it's true. Like right now I'm using 3 different brands of paint, and there are certain colors I prefer. I really do like the indigo from the Winsor Newton set and their like Windsor blue, I think it is.
Okay.
And their French, I think it's like a French ultramarine or something, which is kind of purple. Their greens aren't so great, I'd say. But I'm also using the Daniel Smith and Schminke. But like, you know, there's like certain things that I just really like. Like I think I told you about little cobalt teal or whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
Cobalt teal blue.
Yeah.
Like these lighter colors, these two, those, you can't mix those. I don't think you can. Not well, anyway. So those are really good to have. Just like they feel special, you know? Having a special color that you can't make strongly pigmented. I find those are like worth getting, particularly with tubes, because tube paint, particularly like Daniel Smith, they're quite expensive. I think it's like I think this cost me like $20 Australian just for this one tube.
Oh yeah.
Maybe more than that. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Like they're great, but they're expensive. So I find it more worthwhile to try and find colors that aren't easy to make or colors you can't make yourself.
Okay.
Like I find that that's worth the purchase.
I didn't think I would ever get any Daniel Smith paints because of how expensive they are. But my partner, producer Mike, he bought me some Daniel Smith paints because he was curious. He's very supportive of my channel, and so he thought it would be fun for me to have some really good products to try and play around with and try out. So I'm pretty lucky he's able to get me a few things here and there that I can try out.
That's so lovely. I love that. It's good to experiment, but I'm well aware that not everyone, and I could only afford to do it because I had like scholarship money. Otherwise, there's no way I could have afforded. I think I splurged a little bit more on the Schminke set because it had this has like extra room for like more paint to add in.
Oh yeah.
So I went for the bigger tin, but it was still a small set of paint.
So I have a mixed multi-brand palette as well. So, because basically we get things that if we find a good deal on it, if it's on sale or closeout or something where it's, oh, hey, you know, this color's on sale, so let's try this. So that's how we've kind of been piecing together my paint palette. So I'm pretty good. And it's like I had to tell producer Mike, I said, I have a lot of paints right now. You don't have to get me any more. I'll be okay for a while.
I was going to ask, in one of your latest videos, the one that you did with the leaves and the gold, that looked insane. Like, I loved it so much.
Oh, thank you.
Like, those...
Yeah, the core brand, Earth Colors. It's 6 tubes. I don't know if I actually have it right here. And, oh, it's just oh yeah, it's right here. These are these little core tubes, and it was yeah, just Earth Colors, and which I love. So I was really excited when he told me that he had ordered that for me. And it's got indigo. I've been wanting an indigo for a long time, so I was just excited. There's a sap green, Venetian red, Naples yellow, raw umber, and what was this last one? Transparent brown oxide. And yeah, I love them. They're beautiful. And I specifically wanted to use these colors in a piece. So, and that worked really nicely in that one.
Yeah. Right, they look so beautiful. I was literally, like, can't even speak. I was literally crying. It's like, this is so beautiful. I was having an emotional moment. And, like, when you added the gold, I was like, oh, my heart.
Well, I'm glad you liked that, because that was, yeah, it was, I just love those colors, and I wanted to do something that was a little autumnal, because, you know, I'm just like, it's not yet here as far as the weather, but just desperate for some cool weather and cloudy skies and some, I'm desperate for it. So yeah, I needed to do that. You know what? This is like almost nothing like what I expected this to look like with my version here. So I think it's okay.
So good.
Oh, thank you. I think it works, but it wasn't at all what I had in mind. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Oh, it looks so good. I love it. I'd even say it looks better than mine.
Awesome.
But as you know, I don't really like mine.
I remember your reaction when I said I wanted to do that. Just like, please, go for it.
Make it better.
I think it's awesome. I think
it's just the proportions that I much love. If you look at it, like, she has a very long face, because I'd done it like across my bed, lying flat on a piece of timber. So from my perspective, it looked fine, but then when I took it off the board, I was like, oh my god, she has the longest head of all time.
But, you know, it looks stylized. It looks stylized and it looks good. So it works. In your video, when you showed the, is it this sped up version of when you painted it?
Painting?
I think you mentioned that you were inspired by Rachel Maxey, one of her videos. I had just recently discovered Rachel Maxey, like earlier this year on YouTube, and I was kind of blown away. She's like totally, she knows what she's doing, doesn't she?
Yeah, that whole group of creators in like vintage fashion, Carolina Zabrowska, Bernadette Banner, like that whole group, they're so incredibly skilled at what they do. And there's so much like research involved. I'm like, wow, that is insane. What they do is so inspiring. Every time I see a video, I'm like, man, I should just quit everything and start sewing. But then I remember sewing machines don't really like me that much.
Okay. I think I'm ready to put some bleed-proof white highlights on this.
You're like way ahead of me. I'm trying, but like, I'm so far behind. You're like almost finished.
Yeah, it's kind of I noticed in several of my pieces that I rush through things when I shouldn't. So it's like I'm thinking afterwards, well, how come I didn't put more detail in there? Oh, that's right, I rushed right through it.
And I try to film like 3 a week, like get 3 pieces done a week. So I had backup for the next week in case I wasn't able to get anything done. So stressful. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that I was just like, hey, I don't need to be doing all this. Sure, it pleases the algorithm and I might have more subscribers and whatnot, but like, I think it's better to put yourself first and look after like your mental health.
It seems like there's so much to take into account with these YouTube algorithms, and yeah, it almost gets to be too. I can't think about it anymore. I can't think about the numbers and the hits and the clicks and what to do to try and be more visible, and it's like sometimes it's overwhelming.
Like, I think if you're thinking about all that all the time, it's definitely gonna take a toll on you.
I have certain things like that I try to do with my channel. It's not, I don't think I push myself too hard. I think it's working for now, where I try to do like 2 videos a week. I don't always make it. Sometimes it's just 1, but my goal is to do 2 a week, and it's. I think I've been doing this for like 6 months now with the YouTube channel, and I think 1 month I didn't put up all the videos that I wanted to. But other than that, it's been working out. So I'm pretty happy with what I've been doing.
Yeah, I think what gets me the most is editing. I will just have like tons of backup footage and just not have the motivation to sit there and edit it. Yeah. Especially if I don't like really like it. Like if I'm not 100% passionate, I find it really hard to put that out into the.
I've mentioned before, I have a lot of help with my channel. I have family members that have contributed art supplies. I have producer Mike, my partner. He takes care of all the equipment, lighting, camera, all this stuff, and he also contributes supplies as well. And I have a very good friend where she's been getting me some supplies here and there, and so and my niece, she taught me how to use the editing program, and I've had so much help that I could not have done this if it were just me. And so if you're doing it all on your own, you have my respect, because I don't think I could even do 1 video all on my own.
I think you could. I believe in you, Irene.
Thank you. It might take me a year, but maybe. Yeah, maybe.
It's not super easy, especially when you're trying to like balance life, essentially, like everything else.
Right, and you said you're going to university, so I don't get it. I don't get how you are able to have the energy or the time, or that's a lot to.
This is why I'm family up.
Yeah.
Can't believe you're already finished.
I told you, I rushed through, and it's not a good thing, really. Honestly, I don't consider it a good trait, but yeah, it's a habit where I just get it done, and it's like, why didn't I take more time?
Mine's still so like, I don't know if you can see this, but like it's still got so much
oh my God.
to go.
I love it.
It's barely touched, I'd say. Like, I'd probably go with latest, honestly.
We've been doing this this is almost 2 hours now that we've been talking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
Did you want me to go?
No, I don't want no. But I'm saying if I don't see the finished product here right now, I'm okay with that. I will. It will be a nice surprise when you put up the final piece,
Yeah.
and then it'll be like
Yeah,
the
I
big
doubt
reveal.
I will. Oh my gosh, what a vibe.
But
I might let you go.
I was just gonna say I think we should probably wrap this up because I think I need to get dinner and
Yeah. it's
producer
late for
Mike is
you.
probably hungry. All right. Thanks
Yeah,
so much.
you
I
take
had
care
a
of
great
yourself
time.
too.
Thank you. Thank
I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see the end result of yours. Take care. Laters.
You too.